You know, so many entrepreneurs in India are absolutely terrified of raising their prices. They're convinced that the only thing the market wants is a discount. But here's the thing. While tons of brands are just trying to survive, selling stuff for 400 rupees, there are a few others selling out at double that price. So how are they doing it? Well, they're not just selling a product. They're building this powerful trust framework that makes every single extra rupee feel totally justified. Let's break down how you can get out of that discount trap.
If you open up any online marketplace right now, you'll see what I mean. It's like a graveyard for direct-to-consumer brands. And they all seem to follow the exact same playbook. Launch a cheap product, throw a bunch of money at ads, and just hope for the best. But there's this silent killer in this model, and it's called RTO, Return to Origin. This is what happens when a customer refuses a cash-on-delivery order, and that package has to come all the way back to you.
Let's really break down what that costs. For a product with already thin margins, that return doesn't just wipe out your profit. Oh no, you've paid to ship it to the customer, and now you have to pay to get it shipped back. So that one single return puts you in debt on that order, often by as much as 150 rupees. That is a hole you simply cannot advertise your way out of.
So it's pretty clear you can't win by just being the cheapest option. The only real path forward, the only sustainable one, is to lift your brand up from being a simple commodity into a full-blown premium experience. You've got to build a brand that people trust enough to pay more for before they've even laid hands on the product. And that whole process, it starts with the science of what you're actually selling.
Okay, so let's dig into the first pillar of trust, the product itself. In the world of perfumes, there's this huge myth that more oil automatically means a better product. But the truth? It's way more technical and honestly a lot more interesting than that.
So on the surface, the difference looks pretty straightforward. You've got an eau de cologne, an EDC, which might have, say, 4 to 5% perfume oil concentration. Then you have an eau de parfum, an EDP, with a much higher concentration, usually somewhere around 15 to 20%. So the logical jump is that the EDP is just better, right? Well, not exactly.
And this, right here, gets to the real secret. It's not about how much oil you're using, it's all about the quality of that oil and the sophistication of the lab that's making it. A high-grade oil from a world-class lab is going to outperform a low-grade oil every single time, even if it's at a lower concentration.
Think about it from your customer's point of view for a second. Are they really buying 15% oil concentration? No, of course not. They're buying for performance. They care about two key things. How long does the scent last on their skin? That's what we call lasting. And how far does the scent travel, or projection? And it's the quality ingredients that deliver on those metrics.
Now, let's look at where these oils come from. A tiny 10 milliliter bottle of real, natural oud oil from a place like Kannauj can cost a mind-boggling 15,000 rupees. Now, compare that to high-quality lab-made synthetics, which are way more affordable and consistent. Trying to build a mass premium brand on purely natural oils, it's just not financially possible for most people.
So here's the smart play. Here's the actionable strategy. You start with a really high-quality synthetic base that totally delivers on lasting and projection. Then, you add just a tiny amount, maybe just 2%, of a very high-grade natural oil. This little addition doesn't break the bank, but it gives the scent this authentic, sophisticated pop that just elevates the entire experience. It's truly the best of both worlds.
All right, let's move on to the second pillar, and you'll see how this all starts to build. Packaging. This is all about creating trust that you can physically feel. The customer's premium experience kicks in the second they hold the box, way before they've even smelled the perfume.
Apple are the absolute masters of this. We call it the iPhone effect. It's a whole sequence of sensory cues. First, a heavy, weighted bottle that feels really substantial in your hand. Second, that satisfying click from a magnetic latch on the cap. Third, embossed lettering on the box that you can actually feel with your fingertips. And finally, a box that's designed for a slow, friction-fit release, which just builds up the anticipation.
Now you might be thinking, come on, does a heavier bottle actually change the scent? And the answer, psychologically, is yes, it absolutely does. Our brands are hardwired to associate weight with quality and with value. So when a customer holds something that feels heavy and well-crafted, their brain is already being primed to believe that the product inside is higher quality. It's a really powerful cognitive trigger.
Okay, so you've got a high-quality product in amazing packaging. Now what? How do you sell it? This is our third pillar, promotion. And it means you have to completely change the language you're using. You need to stop selling ingredients and start selling an aspiration. This slide right here shows a huge disconnect.
About 90% of your potential customers, they don't know and they don't care about technical terms like top notes or bergamot. What they understand is a vibe. They're buying the feeling of Dubai luxury or French sophistication. It's only a tiny 10% of fragrance nerds who actually get the notes. You have to talk to the 90%.
So you've got to frame your marketing around the occasion. Where is your customer going to wear this? Is this a perfume you wear to a wedding? Is it a scent that makes a powerful statement at the office? You sell the destination, not the car that gets you there. You have to connect the fragrance to a moment or a feeling they want to have.
And this, my friends, brings us full circle. Remember that silent killer, RTO? Well, building a premium brand isn't just about how it looks or feels. It is the operational key to solving your biggest financial headache. Those higher margins you've built, they give you the power to fight back. So here's the tactic. You use that nice, healthy profit margin you've created to offer an attractive discount for customers who pay upfront with UPI or a card instead of choosing cash on delivery. This gives them a real incentive to commit to the purchase before it even leaves your warehouse.
And this chart just lays out the financial impact so clearly. A cash-on-delivery order might give you a small profit, but a return COD order, like we saw, ends up being a huge loss. But look at this. A prepaid order, even with the discount, locks in a healthy, guaranteed profit. You've completely wiped out the risk of RTO. The math is just so simple and powerful. Offering a 50 rupee discount to get someone to pay up front can save you from a potential 150 rupee loss on a return. I mean, it is one of the most profitable investments you can make in your own business.
And finally, this whole idea of trust, it even extends to where you sell. A lot of brands fall into what I call the mall trap, paying these sky-high rents for foot traffic that's mostly just people window shopping. That doesn't build trust, it just burns through your cash. The much smarter play is the high street anchor strategy. You position your store near an established, trusted brand, like a KFC or a Skechers, and you basically borrow their credibility and capture customers who are already there with the intention to spend money.
So we have to end with this one question. After everything we've looked at, from the grade of the lab to the weight of the bottle, all the way to the language you use in your ads, it really all comes down to this. In a crowded market, the brands that win aren't the ones selling the cheapest product. They're the ones who've successfully figured out how to build and sell trust.